There's the movie Sweet Home Alabama with Reese Witherspoon. I don't know if any of you seen that. I think I saw it when I was a little kid. Anyways, I just remember the movie being about like this really farmy area, and when I got my call to Alabama, for some reason in my head I had this misconception that Alabama was just full of a bunch of like white redneck people, hillbillies, you know, all of that. But I was blown away when I got there to see how many African Americans there were and how big of a part they play in the culture of the state. So, as I mentioned earlier, with the different dynamic of branches and different things, what you'll find a lot is a lot of these towns, like I said, they've been there for a long time, and they used to have factories or plants that produce different things. And then when these plants or factories kind of outsourced and move overseas, all the people in the town were left jobless, and they're just kind of stuck there, and they don't have the greatest financial means to move on. And you know, it's a very difficult situation for them. It's hard to find jobs. They don't have much education. It's very difficult for them. And you know, the government's really tried to help out down there a lot. And I had heard the word projects before my mission, but I never really knew what it meant. I heard it in rap songs. I never knew what the term projects meant until I went there. And really what projects are, they're just government-funded housing for people who don't have the opportunity to work or have different challenges. And you'll find a lot of those in a lot of the areas you serve, these different projects. And they're not just African Americans. There's a lot of white people living in them too, just because they have real trouble finding work. A lot of your time will be spent there. But really, a lot of the homes are very old. A lot of people have lived there for generations and generations. They've been there. You'll find there are a few areas in our mission that are very agricultural, still that way of life. But a majority of the Latter-day Saints in the South and in Birmingham, they live in the cities because it's where most of the work is, absolutely. Northern Alabama and Huntsville, the Huntsville-Madison area, back in the 50s and 60s, because it's exactly almost halfway between Houston and Orlando, the NASA decided to build their plant there in northern Alabama. And this guy named Von Braun, I'm giving you a history lesson, but this guy named Von Braun, he came in, he built the first rocket that ended up taking us to the moon. So that all happened in Huntsville. And because of that, Huntsville became this engineering mecca. And really, not only in the South, but the entire East Coast, Huntsville is a very strong engineering, technologically advanced area. And when I first served there, my second transfer, I felt like I was in Utah or Washington or Idaho, because it's very, very westernized there in northern Alabama. And then in Birmingham, Birmingham's very big on medical things. There's the University of Alabama, Birmingham. It's a very, very strong medical school, one of the strongest in the country. But on a day-to-day basis, you'll deal with people of both races, and then there's certainly, as I mentioned, there's a lot of Hispanics that live in the state that work in different areas, construction and agriculture and such. But it's a very unique mix, and the people are they're amazing.